On December 20th, 2025, San Francisco was suddenly plunged into darkness. The city's vibrant weekend energy vanished as a massive power failure swept across nearly a third of homes and businesses. Lights died, devices went silent, and confusion spread as people realized the scale of the outage. Shoppers navigated dark stores by phone light, restaurants halted mid-service, and families scrambled for flashlights. The blackout was a stark reminder of how dependent city life is on electricity, and how quickly that can be disrupted. As night fell, uncertainty grew. What caused the outage? How long would it last? The answers would reveal a story of fire, fragile infrastructure, and the unforeseen costs of progress. The day began like any other in San Francisco, gray clouds drifting over the city, the hum of daily life echoing through quiet neighborhoods. No one suspected that beneath this calm exterior, a chain of events was about to unfold that would plunge the city into chaos. The cause wasn't a storm, but a sudden violent fire that erupted at a critical PG&E substation at 8th and Mission, an unassuming facility that, in reality, was a linchpin for the city's power grid. Within moments, thick black smoke billowed into the sky, visible for blocks. At approximately 3:15 p.m., frantic emergency calls flooded dispatch centers, reporting flames and explosions at this vital hub. This substation was responsible for distributing electricity to a vast swath of San Francisco, powering homes, businesses, and essential services. Firefighters and first responders raced to the scene, but by the time they arrived, the inferno had already taken its toll. Inside, high-voltage cables had melted into twisted heaps, transformers were scorched beyond recognition, and the heart of the substation was left in ruins. The impact was immediate and devastating. This wasn't a quick fix. The fire had triggered a catastrophic failure, severing power to 130,000 customers in an instant. Entire neighborhoods were plunged into darkness, traffic lights went dead, and apartment buildings glowed only by candlelight. The specialized equipment inside the substation wasn't something you could simply swap out. Repairs would require painstaking work by expert technicians, sourcing rare components, and rebuilding systems piece by piece, a process that could take days, if not longer. The fire exposed a sobering truth: the vulnerability of centralized power points. With just one spark, a single facility's failure had the power to disrupt the lives of hundreds of thousands, revealing just how fragile the city's infrastructure could be. As exhausted crews worked through the night, surveying the charred remains and planning the long road to recovery, it became clear: restoring power to San Francisco would be a marathon, not a sprint. The city's resilience was about to be tested like never before. The outage spread like a wave, rolling through San Francisco's iconic neighborhoods and leaving a trail of darkness in its wake. It began quietly, with a few flickering lights in the Richmond district, but soon, entire blocks were swallowed by shadow. Residents peered out their windows watching as the familiar glow of streetlights and neon signs faded, one after another, like dominoes falling in slow motion. The blackout crept steadily westward, enveloping the Presidio and Golden Gate Park. Landmarks, that usually shone as beacons in the night, were now barely visible, their outlines lost in the gloom. The city's heartbeat seemed to slow as the darkness deepened, and a sense of unease settled over the neighborhoods. Some blocks clung to their power, their windows glowing defiantly, while others were plunged into pitch blackness. This patchwork of light and dark created confusion and anxiety for residents, who struggled to understand the extent of the outage. Emergency responders navigated unfamiliar, unlit streets, their sirens echoing through the silence as they rushed to assist those in need. As the grid destabilized, automated protective systems kicked in, shutting down more areas to prevent catastrophic damage. Utility workers scrambled to assess the situation, monitoring substations and power lines as the city's infrastructure strained under the pressure. Each decision was a delicate balance between containing the crisis and restoring power to as many people as possible. Businesses shuttered their doors, leaving once busy corridors eerily silent. Streets emptied as people retreated indoors, and the blackout bisected the city, affecting both bustling commercial districts and quiet residential neighborhoods. The sudden stillness was unsettling, a stark contrast to the city's usual energy. The event laid bare just how interconnected and fragile the urban power grid truly is. A single point of failure could ripple outward, touching every corner of the city. Technicians worked tirelessly, tracing the outage across a web of wires and substations, determined to restore normalcy. It all began with a single substation fire, but the consequences were vast. A cascading failure that left hundreds of thousands in the dark. Firefighters and utility crews battled not just the flames, but the overwhelming challenge of stabilizing a citywide grid on the brink. Even in a city celebrated for its resilience and technological prowess, the blackout was a humbling reminder of our dependence on a delicate, invisible network. People gathered in small groups, sharing flashlights and stories, realizing how much they relied on the simple certainty of electricity. In the end, the darkness was a powerful equalizer, exposing vulnerabilities that often go unnoticed. It forced the city to confront its hidden weaknesses, and to imagine what it would take to build a more resilient future. In tech-driven San Francisco, the blackout created a new problem: self-driving cars stranded in the dark. With traffic lights out, autonomous vehicles couldn't interpret intersections and defaulted to a safety stop, blocking lanes and causing gridlock. Their advanced sensors and algorithms weren't prepared for a citywide blackout. The sight of stalled robo-taxis was a striking image, the future of transportation, paralyzed by an old-fashioned problem. The outage exposed a critical gap in the technology's ability to handle real-world chaos. For a moment, the promise of autonomous vehicles collided with the reality of a fragile infrastructure. As reports of stranded robo-taxis grew, companies like Waymo suspended their autonomous ride-hailing services citywide. The decision was clear: safety first, technology second. Waymo coordinated with city officials, monitoring conditions before considering a return. The outage was an edge case their systems weren't ready for, and pulling cars off the road was a public admission of those limits. This pause prevented further chaos and showed a willingness to put public safety above business. The incident was a humbling moment for the industry, highlighting the need for smarter, more resilient systems. Sometimes the smartest move is simply to stop and wait for the light. As the city was plunged into darkness, San Francisco officials wasted no time in addressing the public. They quickly urged residents to avoid non-essential travel, emphasizing that the roads had become hazardous without functioning traffic signals. The absence of streetlights and illuminated signs created a confusing and potentially dangerous environment for both drivers and pedestrians. City leaders stressed that staying off the roads would not only keep individuals safe, but also allow emergency vehicles and repair crews to move freely and respond to urgent situations without unnecessary obstacles. For those who absolutely had to be out, officials reminded everyone to treat every dark intersection as a four-way stop. This simple but crucial rule was repeated across all channels, aiming to prevent accidents and confusion at intersections where the usual flow of traffic had vanished. Drivers were urged to slow down, make eye contact with other motorists, and proceed only when it was clearly safe, turning what could have been chaos into a more orderly process. Emergency alerts buzzed on smartphones and echoed across social media, spreading the message far and wide: stay home if you can, and let emergency crews do their work. These alerts were not just reminders, but urgent calls for cooperation, asking residents to avoid putting themselves or others at risk. Families gathered around radios and phones, listening for updates and instructions, while neighbors checked in on each other to make sure everyone was informed and safe. The blackout didn't just affect private vehicles. Public transit was also thrown into disarray. Buses and trains faced significant delays and unexpected reroutes, leaving many commuters stranded or searching for alternative ways to get home. Transit officials worked around the clock to update routes and communicate changes, but the disruption compounded the city's transportation woes, highlighting just how interconnected and vulnerable urban infrastructure can be during a crisis. Throughout the city, clear and consistent communication became a lifeline. Officials used every available channel: digital message boards, radio broadcasts, and even flyers handed out on street corners to share safety instructions and keep the public informed. Their goal was to reduce panic, prevent accidents, and ensure that everyone knew what to do and where to go for help. By focusing on public safety and encouraging cooperation, city leaders managed not just the technical aspects of the crisis, but also the human side. Emergency responders worked tirelessly, while community members stepped up to help one another, directing traffic, checking on neighbors, and volunteering wherever they were needed. This spirit of collaboration helped maintain order and provided comfort during a time of uncertainty. Calm, caution, and clear instructions became the city's best tools for weathering the blackout. Residents listened carefully to updates, followed guidance, and looked out for one another, transforming a potentially chaotic situation into a demonstration of resilience and solidarity. In a moment of uncertainty, it was guidance, unity, and a shared sense of responsibility that made all the difference, helping San Francisco navigate the darkness together, one careful step at a time. Through the night, PG&E crews worked relentlessly to restore power. By Sunday morning, 110,000 customers had electricity again, a major milestone, but 21,000 remained in the dark, mostly in the Presidio, Richmond district, and near Golden Gate Park. Restoration was complex, rerouting power, reconfiguring circuits, and bringing neighborhoods back online one by one. Those still without power faced a second day of uncertainty, watching others return to normal. The process revealed the grid's complexity and the challenge of restoring power after such severe damage. For many, the wait continued, a reminder of how fragile recovery can be. The city was split, one side returning to life, the other still waiting for the light. The final 21,000 customers waited as crews tackled the most difficult repairs at the damaged substation. The fire had caused catastrophic failure, requiring a near-total rebuild of critical systems. Technicians worked methodically, sourcing specialized parts and ensuring every connection was perfect before re-energizing the grid. PG&E couldn't promise a timeline. Safety and precision came first. The complexity and danger of the work meant progress was slow but necessary. The outage highlighted just how fragile and intricate our power infrastructure is. One fire, and days of darkness followed, a sobering lesson in the challenges of modern city life. The 2024 dans no standard viewed. Estado Angel, the 45 San Francisco blackout will be remembered for its lessons about technology and infrastructure. Stalled self-driving cars became a metaphor for our dependence on old systems, even as we chase the new. The crisis exposed the need for resilient decentralized power grids and smarter, more adaptable technologies. It also showed the importance of clear communication and public-private cooperation in emergencies. As cities grow smarter, they must also grow stronger, investing in both innovation and the basics. The blackout was a wake-up call. Progress means maintaining the old as we build the new. The future depends on strong foundations, ready for whatever comes next.